All right. So we are live. All right. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Amy, how you doing?
Good.
Good. Well, this is Pete Erickson. I'm the founder of Modev, and I'm the creator of Voice Summit. And show a little banner here. This is part of our speaker interview series where we're getting to know some of the more than 300 speakers coming to Newark, New Jersey, July 22nd through 25th for Voice. The address is voicesummit.ai. And definitely go check it out. This morning, we're chatting with Amy Summers of Pitch Publicity. Amy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. So tell us just kind of first off, tell us about Pitch and what you're all up to.
Sure. So I started Pitch Publicity back in my 20s, a year before Facebook started, actually. So I always say that I was an entrepreneur before it was officially cool to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
And what we do at Pitch Publicity is we work with clients all over the world who are interested in getting media exposure here in the United States and Canada. We do Canada media as well. And so we work with a lot of clients that have products and services. And we, just like our name, we pitch media. And we've been doing that for 16 years now, stories to get exposure and news coverage. And so that's what we do. So like any good entrepreneur, I got bored last year. Pitch is doing exceptionally well, and I was looking for a new business venture to start, actually. And I really feel strongly about communications and public relations and how that's used. And a lot of brands out there or individuals are trying to get their story out, and that is exactly what PR is all about. Is telling your story and relating to your publics. And so I was looking for another way to do that with a new technology. And so that's kind of how I, like Alice in Wonderland, stumbled into your world here. I feel like all of a sudden I was looking for a platform to launch this new company on that didn't exist already, that was not what's now, but what's next. And in speaking to a lot of tech people, one of which you may know, Jeffrey Smith, also known as the Alexa guy, I learned about voice technology and flash briefings. And as he was telling me about these flash briefings, he was talking about Alexa skills, and it was like funny, I have always told people that pitching is a skill. Like everyone that I've trained that has come to work for me, I tell them, even if you don't go on to be a publicist or stay in PR, the skill of pitching is something that you can use in any aspect of your life, whether it's another job, sales, in an interview, or even getting a date. I mean, you have to know how to pitch yourself and present yourself. And so last fall, at the end of September, I launched in the Alexa skills, and now you can get on Google Play and everything, the pitch with Amy Summers. And so that's kind of what brought me to you. So I launched that, and I did it on my current business, not because I needed the promotion on my current business, but I did it really as an experiment to see if I was going to recommend voice technology to other businesses, other CEOs, if I'm even going to use it in another company that I want to launch, is it practical? How will I use that? How will I tell people to use it?
So really, it's you created your own sandbox in a way to really help other customers. But tell us about the pitch with Amy. What does the skill do?
So when you listen to the pitch with Amy Summers, what you're learning is basic traditional communication skills and how to use them in today's world of technology. So, I come from the generation that, kind of grew up into the internet, and so I'm with that generation that saw both sides of it. And so I know how to communicate without all this technology. And then the technology came along, and we had to continue to use this technology on how to communicate. So I always tell people, communication doesn't change. It's the tools that we're using to communicate. So there's still a basic foundational communication, which I think gets lost. So some people get upset and they'll blame things on things like, well, it's texting fault. You didn't understand me because you didn't understand this emoji or this text, or they blame technology a lot. And technology should not be blamed for how we are communicating, because technology is just a tool. And so that's what I teach through the pitch with Amy Summers. It's just, and again, it's applicable to anybody, whether you're in a career where you have to pitch. Most people are in some sort of career where you have to pitch at some point, or not. Like I said, it's just basic how to relate to people, how to talk to people, and how to use technology to do that.
I think it's great. Don't blame the medium. The message really still needs to be there. So, we've been talking a lot about microcasting lately. And I see that, one of the panels that you're going to be on is specifically about microcasting. Well, let's go through both of them. So on Wednesday, July 24th, I love this panel. We're going to see some new names also join this discussion as well. Project leadership in the voice era. Again, it's like leadership is leadership, but we do have this new medium. And every time there's a shift, right? When there was a shift to mobile and then a big movement around social, good leadership didn't really change. However, you had to be cognizant of the new medium and the new platforms out there in order to really get the most out of it. Tell us a little bit about how you see voice impacting leadership, and what do technology leaders need to be taken into consideration now that we're entering into this new era?
So one of the things that really surprised me about the flash briefing, and this is why I wanted to immerse myself into it before I started recommending the technology to anybody, was that I was surprised that I am using this to train my own teams now as a leader. So I'm a small business owner. I'm small by design. I decided about halfway through my business of pitch that I was not going to be a big, medium-sized, or large company. It just didn't fit who I was personally, because I like to be personally involved with every single client, which means I can only have a finite amount of clients. Otherwise, I have to hire a bunch of people. So I have a small team. And the problem has always been, and people have always told me, as a executive, you can't clone yourself. You can't, you can only give yourself to so many clients. You can only give yourself to so many team members. And what's really interesting about the flash briefing that I'm doing is that I'm actually using that for my team in training. And what I'm finding is that it's made me a better leader for them, and it's trained them better. So one of the problems that CEOs have, like myself, is that we tend to want to do everything on our own if we don't have time to train somebody. So for example, if I'm running into a meeting and I get a call from one of my team members and they're like, I just had this conversation, I was pitching a journalist and she yelled at me and I don't know what to do now. Normally I would either yell at my employee and just tell them, do this, and fire off some instructions like the devil wears Prada, right, and what to do. Or I would say, you know what, forget it, let me handle it, I can do it. Because in my CEO brain, I'm thinking, I can do it faster than I can train them. But now I'll say, go listen to episode 200, and then I'll call you later. And they do it. And it's Amy at her best training, because I'm taking the time to script these flash briefings. It's a 2-minute, and the people that work for me are usually right out of college, so they're at that age where they really respond to the voice more than the old school way of like an employee manual, because if they're hearing my voice in their ear explain not only how to do it, but like the inflection or the tone to use when you call back the journalist and fix it, or they can hear all of that. Right.
That's really interesting. I tell you, that's it is. I'll take a lesson from you on that. I think that's really great. As I know that writing a blog post about things has been also a good way for folks when they get the same question a lot. If you're getting the same question a lot, write a blog post and then you can point people to it. But I think the flash briefing is really interesting. It's sort of the next iteration of that, where it may just be something you explain for a minute, and then you're done, and you can refer people to all those lessons learned as a CEO of business. So I can definitely relate there. Well, it looks like you're on two great panels. Wednesday, July 24th, Project Leadership in the Voice Era. That includes some great folks from Matt Quinn from Audible, Nara from NPR. And again, we will be adding some other great folks onto that as well. And then the microcasting, I think it's a fascinating area of growth. Had a fun conversation with Dr. Terry Fisher from Canada. from the Voice of Canada. And he's just about at his 500th daily microcast. So there are a lot of folks out there really, laying down the foundation for others to follow. And Amy, you're one of them. We definitely look forward to seeing you in a month in Newark, New Jersey. You don't have far to come. You're in New York City, correct?
I know. I could just take a Uber.
You're taking the path. You're taking the Jersey Transit. You're taking Amtrak. Do you have your, or are you driving?
I'll probably, do the unenvironmentally friendly thing and take an Uber.
There you go. Well, see, it's not even a far Uber. So anybody that's in New York, Newark is not far away.
Like, if you want to do rideshare, I'm right on Billionaires Road.
That's a really good point. I think we should probably try to get some carpooling going for the folks that are coming from New York City. So we will follow up on that. But Amy, appreciate your time today.
All right. Thank you so much, Pete.
For anybody out there that has not visited the website yet, voicesummit.ai, if you are at all thinking about how this space is going to impact you, because it's already impacting your life, there is a smart speaker in more than 100 million homes in the US, 70 million people a month drive their cars and use the voice technology in their cars. Voice is changing the game across all sectors of the economy. You can come check it out. We're going to have more than 300 speakers from 25 countries talking about really the state of the market in this new voice era. And if you're a student or if you're in a job transition or need economic assistance, we have scholarships as well. I encourage everybody to apply for a scholarship. We want everybody to have a voice and join us at Voice Summit. I'm Pete Erickson. Have a great day. All right.